Hello and welcome to another League of Legends commentary. And today I'm going to be bringing you a support Zilean commentary. So it's a pretty interesting game, and I really like support Zilean with Katarina. And pretty much whenever I see a Katarina on my team, I'm going to pick support Zilean because his ulti combined with her kit is just ridiculously good. Like, she really can utilize the speed boost, and she's gonna get focused in team fights, so she's a very easy person to ulti in team fights, and that makes them face a really terrible choice. Either they can focus her down and just waste all their stuff on her, like all their CC and damage on her, and she just revives, or they can just take lots of damage as she just destroys them. So I really like Zilean plus Katarina. I think it's great. And another great thing about Zilean is that he's really good against AD bruisers. He makes them really just do nothing in team fights when he puts his E on them. So these are like the main strengths of Zilean. You know, if he can focus by putting his ulti on someone that dies in the middle of their team and does lots of damage, so that they again are faced with that choice: do I just take lots of damage from this character, or do I try to focus him down and waste CC and all that stuff on him? So I think these are some of the considerations you should make when playing Zilean and whether to choose Zilean. Okay, so for the new starting items, I should have gotten Biscuit and the extra ward, especially given this setup. I went for Crystalline Flask and Fairy Charm, and that only left me with 120 gold left, so I could buy a ward and a pot, and it would have definitely been better, given that I choose the Biscuit and the extra ward just to give us better lane control, and I will do that in the future. I don't really like Biscuit and the ward on a lot of champions, but it does depend on what your starting items are, because Biscuit can be really great and the ward can be really great if you're sort of running these low ward counts. And another thing in the new meta is that you can get away with actually getting less wards, because the jungler is basically stopped ganking bottom because it's always warded now. Like, every possible entrance is warded, and the only way you're gonna get anything is if they make a huge misplay or you come up through the lane. So basically what the support does is that he can make the laning phase for the AD carry either really easy or really difficult, somewhere along that spectrum. And in this game I made the laning phase really freaking difficult for my AD carry. I just fed a lot in the laning phase, and basically what I wanted to do was poke them a lot with my autos, because I got pickpocket, and put bombs on them. Unfortunately, autos and bombs don't really go well together, because when you run at them, they know you're trying to put a bomb on them, and they run back. So you can usually have a choice between an auto and a bomb, and the bomb does way more damage than your auto. So if you want to harass, you should definitely use the bomb, obviously. But unfortunately, that doesn't go well with pickpocket. So I was trying out that mastery, and that was one of the major flaws in my play. Also, I didn't recognize how much damage these guys do, and how squishy I was. So basically, you really obviously do not want to trade. Like, here they just destroyed me, and I thought I was going to be fine. I thought I could just put a bomb on them and get away, but if you're a squishy champion, then you just can't do that. You have to either be harassed at high health, so you need like health regen to have like a reasonable harass, or you need to just not harass, basically. And so you have to look at what the lineup is and how they respond to your harass. So early on, I saw that whenever I tried to harass them, they just both of them harassed me back, and I just take way too much damage doing that. So I should have recognized, even though you can get this knowledge from playing, but also you can get this knowledge in the game, when you recognize, okay, my harass isn't really doing anything good. Like, it's fine to harass for free there. Like, I shouldn't have taken that auto. It should have been a free harass. But usually, that wasn't happening. So I needed to be much more cautious with my harass. I'm trying to prep these creeps for Grave, so he can use his buckshot on them, and I messed up a little bit, but this is something that you can do as your support once you understand how the last hitting mechanics of the tower works. Usually it takes 2 shots from the tower and one auto attack to kill a melee creep, and 1 shot from the tower and 1 auto attack to kill a ranged creep. However, if your damage is low, it might take 2 shots to do that. So you can, if your AD carry's damage is low, you can prep the creeps with your autos, basically, so that they can just get the 1 shot off after the tower attacks. So again, I was trying to use my pickpocket ability, but it doesn't. My autos don't really combo well with bombs. There, we came ahead in the trade, as you saw, so that was fine. That was a case where both of us, Graves and I, both harassed. And sometimes this will happen, like you want to harass and your laning partner will also want to harass, and you'll just do lots of damage on the trades. But other times, like Graves didn't want to harass in that case. And he didn't respond in time, or I don't know what, like he was just focusing on CS, which is fine, like the AD carry really needs the CS. But like if that's happening, then you have to understand that that's what your AD carry is doing, and when you just try to keep really aggressively trading, then you're just getting yourself low, and you make it really easy for you to get killed, and then your AD carry can't do anything. So again, you want to have presence in your lane. That means putting I should have just attacked Lulu instead of trying to go for Varus there. But again, like you want to have presence in your lane. You want to make it really easy for your AD carry to lane, and you do that by harassing usually, or making them really scared so they don't harass your AD carry and make it really difficult for the enemy carry to farm, and make it easy for your carry to farm. So that's what you're trying to do in the lane. And the most common way to do that, again, I said was harass, but sometimes you can just zone, like you make them scared. So like if let's say this creep was low, I can run at Varus and make him too scared to use an auto. I'm trading aggressively still, and I just continue doing this throughout the laning phase, and it's a big mistake. I really just made our laning phase so difficult by doing this. And I'm not trading when I need to be trading, basically. So that's just what happens. And here I get blown up because they were 6 and I wasn't 6. If Graves had hit his ulti, I think the Varus probably would have died there. So you should pay attention to what level the enemy champions are, and this goes for any lane really. For instance, when Kassadin hit 6, that's a pretty substantial change in how he plays his game, because he can start harassing you back. And he's also much harder to gank. When TF gets 6, he can, gank bottom lane or gank top lane. So that was a mistake on my part, not recognizing what level the enemy champion was. So to recap some of the major points here, 1, you need to check what level the enemy champ is, and 2, you need to understand, okay, is this a lane where I harass, or is it a lane where I play more passive? And when I harass, so when are the opportunities where I can harass? Because free harass is great. If you can put free damage on them, then you should do that. So we get a free dragon here, and this is because Lulu hadn't warded. When you're doing dragon, you want to make sure that you secure the entrances to your river so that they can't come up and steal or kill you and things like that. So make sure you're doing that with dragon, and I do that pretty consistently throughout the game. So again, make sure the entrances to river are warded when you want to do dragon. I think bottom recognized that we had done dragon because we were missing, or they just wanted to take advantage of the fact that we weren't here. So they pushed this turret really hard, and they should have taken it. That was a big mistake on their part. They should have definitely taken this turret when they had the opportunity. They leave it with very little health, and I think it survives for a very long time actually. Okay, let's speed this up a little bit. as my character also speeds up. So I'm also going to try to condense the replays a little bit more, so that they're just a little quicker. You guys can get more condensed experience. So tell me what you think about a more condensed replay. I don't want to miss interesting team decisions or useful commentary that I can give you guys. So you kind of want to balance that, and I don't really know yet what the right balance is. I shouldn't have walked into that bush there. See how much damage I took for that? So if I hadn't done that, it would have, I wouldn't have had to use my ulti and all that. And here I stick around, so if you get really low after you kill them and you don't have wards in river and all that, then you should just go back. I was telling Graves that I was backing, and then I was like, okay, Varus is really low, I guess I'll stick around. Graves seems to be sticking around. And we just get killed because we got too greedy. I was thinking about trying to dodge that skill shot, but I just didn't think it was possible to really dodge it. I could have dodged it, I thought, but so I definitely should have tried it. I basically didn't try at all. I just got lazy and didn't try to dodge the skill shot. And when you're gonna die, sometimes it's just not worth putting the effort into doing that. Or at least that feels like that. But you shouldn't play like that. It doesn't make sense. Luckily, Cat comes down and turns this into a 2-for-2. I think she might die though. She might. Yeah. Okay. So she just turns it into a 2-for-2 or 3-for-2. So or 3-for-3 rather. So that's pretty nice on her part to do that. Sometimes you make mistakes and your teammates capitalize them, and the enemy team doesn't realize that they're a mistake or makes their own mistakes, and that lets you get back into the games and catch up. So if you look at what's going on bottom lane, Graves has 10 less CS and 2 less kills than Varus. Here I should not have traded. And I thought that I was stronger than Lulu, but let's see. Let's take a look at our champion. So she has 32 AP, and I have also 32 AP, and she has 41 magic resist. But she evidently does way more damage than me, even though we were the same level. So that's just something I'll try to keep in mind in the future. If you try to trade with a Lulu that sort of understands what you run at her and you try to do a straight up trade, just auto attacking each other, then you're gonna lose, and it's not worth it. You shouldn't give up towers for free, or lots of damage on towers for free, and that's what they were doing because they took the longer route to get back to their tower. So that's just something to consider. Another thing to consider in the game is when you are the jungler, all the entrances to the river, through the river to their base are going to be warded. You should have definitely gone on them there. There was 4 of us and only 2 of them there. So that was just a mistake on his part. But we got a free ulti out of it, so even though we made a mistake in that we didn't capitalize on the fact that they were overextended, we still got something out of it. So a lot of times people get really frustrated when there's a chance for them to make a great play and your team doesn't capitalize on it, or you make a mistake and you can't capitalize on it properly and they just keep diving. But you can sort of think of it in the sense that, okay, I got something out of it and I don't have to be so mad about it.
Shut down.
And we took the free tower there because they had both Varus and Lulu head back, so that was great. And here I'm telling my team to take the other towers. So I've been seeing this a lot since the patch, in that people just have stopped caring about objectives and team fighting, and I don't know what's really going on with people's minds, but they are just acting very strange in how they act in team fights and all that. So if you are paying attention to that, paying attention to how you're playing and how you used to play before the patch, you're going to do really well right now, because people just aren't doing it for some reason. I don't really understand what's going through people's heads, but if you remember how to team fight and all that, you're going to do really well. Because I guess people are just really considering what their item choices are going to be and what they're doing, and they're spending a lot of their mental energy doing that. So they're just team fighting much more poorly, and they don't really understand what the new items do, so they overextend and make lots of mistakes in team fights. So that's just something to consider. A common mistake, I think, is that a lot of people get boots really, really early still, and you really don't need to do that. Boots have been nerfed severely, and your move speed is much greater in comparison. So, let's say Zilean, I started out with 354 move speed, and the boots only increased it by a small percentage, you know, less than 10% increase, because, I mean, level 1 boots, that is. You know, it gives you 25, and so obviously it's less than 10. Here I could have definitely flashed and saved Katarina, and I probably should have done that. There's no reason to give them like a kill off of that. So sometimes, like, and this happens a couple times, I was just playing a little cautious because I didn't want to waste my summoners and potentially die. So that's always a good thing to do, you know, not to overextend, but sometimes you also have to make plays, so it's a difficult balance to strike. One thing that we do pretty well in this game is we always take the dragons when we're up, because I'm certain, like, anyone can do this. It's really not that difficult. You keep track of dragon timer, so dragon responds every 6 minutes, so make sure you just have time logs on, and you can just turn that on in the settings, and you just add 6 to when it says dragon was slain in all chat. So that's just something you can do so that your team can prep for dragon better. Another thing that's interesting about site stones is you have more wards than you can put down at one time. So you can move them around depending on what your team is trying to accomplish, which is great. I really like it. So you can, let's say you're prepping for Baron and you have like wards in their jungle down here, you can now basically move those wards into these positions to understand how they're going to come in to try to stop you from Baron and really improve how your team fighting. We execute this fight pretty poorly. We should have, you know, done much better in this fight, and you know that just happens. Like, Lee Sin shouldn't have died there, so you know it's just some mistakes on our part. But I don't think I could have done anything to have saved him. He needed to just W as soon as he revived. So sometimes, like, I would like to be able to tell my teammates, okay, I'm casting ulti on you, you know, plan accordingly, but unless you have voice chat and they're in voice chat with you, you can't really do that. So you sort of have to anticipate what they're trying to do, and it's not too hard, but you should certainly try to do it. I slowed down Varus instead of speeding up Katarina because I saw that our jungler was here, and I wanted them to just kill him, and if Katarina had gone in, she definitely would have gotten the kill there. I'm trying to get this guy to overextend, and he does this a lot. So if you notice that an enemy champion is, you know, basically chronically overextending, try to bait him. Like, and baiting him will be super easy. So just try to keep that in mind. So here he's doing this again, and I'm basically just baiting him over and over again. Unfortunately, I obviously shouldn't have done that because I noticed that all our team was there, so I thought it was okay. But I didn't realize how low our team was and how high their team was. So you should check before you make plays. You need to understand what the strategic position is and plan accordingly. So that would have been fine play if our team was high and the other enemy team was low, like getting them to overextend. But since we were low, it basically baited our team and prevented us from defending that tower. I don't know that we could have defended that tower, but you know, it just made it impossible. So try not to make the game more difficult than it already is, and that's a common mistake that a lot of people make. They just make this game way more difficult for themselves and for their team, and that's pretty frustrating. I think that's why a lot of people rage in solo queue. It's just like, I know you're trying your best, but like there's some things that are pretty obvious, and I know it's like hard to do that in the moment, like keep track of all this stuff, like keep track of like where you should be positioning and how to use your spells effectively and all that. But you know, if you look at your own replays, you'll see that you do this pretty often. Everyone does it. Again, here's a chance where I could have flash ultied Katarina, and I think in that case I didn't actually know where Lee Sin was, so I'm just standing over here because I don't need to be up there, and I can still get the assist and XP and all that from over there. And I didn't want to get up in the middle of team fight, so that was just a better idea in positioning. So this is a really good fight for us. It's a 4v3, and we get 2 of their flashes out of it, so it was great. Sometimes like this, a lot of times this will feel like a defeat or like that you messed up, but you should not look at it like that. It's actually a really nice victory. You got flashes out of them for free, and those have a really long cooldown, so you basically really strengthen your team. You know, just possibly even more so than getting a kill, because getting a kill only gives you and potentially your teammates some amount of assist gold, whereas, you know, getting their flashes down makes it much more difficult for them to make plays and gives your team an advantage. So League of Legends is about getting advantages for your team and using those advantages to further increase your team's strength. So that's just how you kind of need to think about the game conceptually. So we're doing dragon again, so we've gotten every dragon pretty much on the dot on the timer. So if you do this, it really starts adding up over the game. So here we have 4, so we couldn't have fought. We didn't know where the rest of their team was. If we knew they were there, obviously we could have gone in because it was a 4v3, but we didn't know that, so that was the correct play. So you can increase how well your team's doing just by paying attention yourself. So like, let's say you can actually make your team die by going really aggressive. Like you can, in that case, like I could have put bombs on people and sped people up, and our team definitely would have gone in. Like I would have forced them basically, even though I didn't tell them. But you know, that's basically what would have happened there. And you should not do that. Basically, you should not be baited by your own team. So like, if someone's making really bad plays, obviously sometimes you just have to be like, okay, he made a really bad play, but let's try to make the best of it. But I think more frequently, what you want to be doing is not trust that person. Be like, okay, this person has really bad playmaking skills, and I'm not going to trust them. So we got wards in this bush, and remember before how I said that Zin was being like really aggressive? So I'm trying to bait him, and it again turns out really well for our team. You know, it costs us an ulti, but oh, actually it doesn't turn out as well as I thought it did. So I think it was just because Zin actually split us and we got focused down. Luckily we only trade 3 for, we Cho'Gath overextend, so that was actually a mistake on my part. So before I had said, you know, that, I don't know why he went on me, you can bait your team into making mistakes. And I guess I just baited my team there into making a mistake. Okay, so they don't actually get this turret down because they're too low, and we defend it successfully. This is a mistake that a lot of people make, is they give up free turrets. Like, they think they're low, and so like there's let's say in that case there's 3 of us and 3 of them, and everyone goes back and just lets the turret die for free. You don't want to do that. You're just giving them free gold and giving up map control for no reason. Like, you could have defended that tower. But, you know, obviously there's some situations where you don't want to do that. For instance, if you're 1 and you really can't do anything to stop them from pushing, so like, if you have the ability to stop them from pushing, then that's a choice that you can make, a strategic choice. But if you don't, there's no reason to be there. So if it was just me, I was really low and I had like no mana, there's no reason for me to stand there. Like, the best thing I can do for myself and for my team is just to go back to base. If I stick around, I'm just going to feed them, so there's no reason to do that. If you see people running at you like this, you should recognize what's going on. If people are running at you, that means that they want to fight, and the only reason they want to fight is if the rest of the team's there, unless, you know, they don't know what they're doing. So, you know, don't assume that the enemy team's stupid. You know, it really doesn't make any sense. There again, Xin Zhao was being over aggressive, and we really punished him for it. I slowed him down, and our whole team was there, so we really capitalized on their mistake, and we get 3 towers. So here we could have like been like, oh, we don't have enough minions to take the turret, and just backed, but we didn't do that. We recognized we can take this turret. There's no reason not to extend our lead. I think taking the inhib would be a little greedy. If you take a look at their death timers, they're all almost back, so you should be checking death timers. Luckily, someone was focusing down the turret, so it didn't turn out like horrendously bad. if no one focused on the turret, it would have turned out really bad. And Zin again overextends, so you just have to recognize that this is happening. This is a chronic problem with his play. And there I basically baited Lee Sin to going in. Not that he was in danger, but I cast a spell on him and he realized, okay, why did he cast that spell on me? That's because he wants me to go in. So again, like I said before, you can use that to really bait your team in a good way or a bad way. So if you can make plays even if you're the support or the AD carry by positioning a certain way. Even though basically as the AD carry you don't want to be making plays, but you can certainly influence your team's decision making in a good way. Another way to do that is to buy wards. People just play better when you get wards, so that's something to consider. Alright, so I talked about before in one of my support videos that there's been great addition of new items for supports, and I buy most of them. In this game I get Mikhail's Crucible and Shard of True Ice. The problem with these items is they really increase the skill cap of supports. What the hell? There we go. I don't know why. It's not letting me click on my map. So I have to do it this way. So, what the hell? Slow down. Whatever. So, again, the problem with that is that they really increase the skill caps of supports. So, it basically gives you an extra like 3 or 4 more spells, and it's just really hard to use that. So again, we just completely dominated them in that fight. They got over aggressive, and we were ahead, so they shouldn't have fought us there. So continuing along, using Mikhail's and shards and your other positioning and all that, it's just so freaking difficult. So you're just gonna find to be an effective and support is just so much harder. So that's just something that you need to keep in mind, that yes, the power of supports has gotten significantly increased, but at the same time, the difficulty in playing them has increased significantly. So what I'm going to do here again is I talked about the Sightstones. We want to get this objective Baron, and the way we can really help our team secure this objective is by putting wards down, obviously. And Sightstone is great for that. It lets you put down 3 wards, the upgraded version, you know, the Ruby Sightstone or whatever it's called, Ruby Sightstone. And we know like if they want to contest Baron, so Sightstone is really great for that. So also the Oracles has gotten severely nerfed, so you should expect that there's going to be more team vision. So really try to take advantage of the fact that there's less Oracles to put more wards on the map, and everyone can do this, and I think you should totally be doing this in your games. Okay, so I thought here we were prepping for the final fight, but the enemy team was giving up at this point. So that's just what's happened. You know, sometimes this happens, and this game was totally winnable by them. They were ahead, and they threw the lead. And so, on our part, the things that helped us were that, again, not being overly aggressive, and not fighting fights that we couldn't win, generally speaking. And their problem was being over-aggressive and, you know, yelling at each other and all those things that really make the game harder. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please remember to subscribe, like, and comment. Thanks so much.